7 people were injured, 48 were killed. I look off and I'm looking down because I'm like, oh, it would be cool if I like know that off the top of my head. It's like, yeah, no, it's right there. Staged protesters against radical Islamic extremism. These are Muslims that were rounded up. Some of them were real, but they were rounded up for camera by CNN to make it look like that, like the protest was bigger than it was, and they were against the bombings. Or no, the 2017 London Bridge was stabbings and a giant truck that killed people. It wasn't bombings. So CNN frames this, you'll see, it frames this news story with this bringing all these people in. Watch the news anchor like set the scene, frame it for television, for the American public. Look.
Yep. That Simon, rap Simon. Guys, please stay, please. And this is in commemoration to the heroes of London. There are flowers on the street here. Ladies with hashtag Turkey Love, hashtag ISIS enemies of Islam, hashtag ISIS lose, hashtag turn to London. A poignant scene, and a scene we should sit on just for you viewers.
Seems harmless in a sense because like some of those people are real, right? Like but like it's like, well, this doesn't work. Like it doesn't read, right? Like some of the movies, like Larry David's, what episode was it with like Martin Scorsese? He was filming The Departed actually, I think, and then Larry David like went on set and filmed for Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he talked about like balls and what if I hold like Fabio's balls in a bag and I hold them up? Well, Scorsese's like, well, balls don't read. It's like you gotta like make it play to the audience. You gotta like sensationalize it. So what about this fake video about Syria? It's like condemning Bashar al-Assad for bombing these innocent people, so on and so forth. This is the setup. Look at this. They set it up. They tell them what to say. Watch.
Our top story now. Syria's turmoil has been laid bare on our TV screens for more than a year. But some networks are being accused of affecting rather than reflecting the conflict. Maria Fanoshina reports now on how there's more to the coverage on the Qatari-owned Al Jazeera TV channel than meets the eye.
Clashes in the streets of Syria have been raging for a year now, but behind the scenes there is a media war that's just as damaging as the one taking Syrian lives. Rafiq Lotf, freelance investigative journalist from Damascus, says he's found what he thinks is proof of media manipulation of the conflict in Syria. In this video from the Syrian town of Homs, the camera focuses on the city's oil refinery. The shooting begins 7 hours before media viewers around the world see a pipeline explosion allegedly caused by Assad's army bombardment. You can clearly see that something is slowly burning in the distance. When the smoke has thickened, English speakers correct the camera's position for a better shot of what's going on. They shake it to make it look like amateur video.
I know this video is on the Al Jazeera server. It's clear it's not an explosion, but they ignore that and keep on reporting it the way they need to see it.
In another video from a hospital in Homs, someone behind camera talks to a doctor. In the corner, we see little Nakham.
When you are on air, you should tell Bashar God will punish you and then talk about his wife, okay? Let's rehearsal again.
After some 30 minutes of waiting, the crew starts to get nervous.
Let's call Al Arabiya, maybe. For how long can we wait?
No, we need Al Jazeera.
While live on Al Jazeera eventually, the girl will forget some details.
God punish you, Bashar, and your children.
In this footage, we see Danny, a Homs activist known for his exclusive reports from the very epicenter of the conflict. He's preparing to go live on CNN, and there is no shooting until he asks for it.
What shall I say?
Tell them there are some buildings collapsed and we're taking bodies away.
You say there could be as many as 200 dead just in the last hour or two? We have 200 dead in the last 3 hours. In the first half an hour, we've got 40 dead. In the first half an hour. And we got the video up on YouTube.
The activists who become journalists try to make their shows as hard as possible. The more blood and death, the higher the price.
But not everyone is happy about it. Well-known war correspondent Ali Hashem used to report for Al Jazeera from the world's conflict hotspots, but Syria has become the Rubicon he couldn't cross. He mentioned armed groups fighting against Assad's army, and his bosses in Doha told him he needed a vacation. Ali has just resigned because of biased coverage, he says.
Some were like, promoting the revolutions in Libya, Syria, Egypt, Tunisia, whatever, and dumping, for example, the revolution in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia.
The Al Jazeera chief in Beirut, where Ali has been working, has also quit for same reason.
We started to invite guests from America who only criticize the regime in Syria and support the regime in Bahrain, and persons who justify NATO intervention. This is unacceptable.
The media in this is just a proxy. It's a proxy used by external factors, by external factions, by external governments, by maybe the West, whoever, to fuel these wars.
With more and more proof emerging of the international media's involvement in the Arab Spring revolutions, the question remains open. To what extent do they influence events, and how much responsibility do they therefore share for what follows? Marif Noshna, RT, Beirut, Lebanon.
Again, you have to produce these episodes. It's these people are not actors and they're not commentators. So there is some coaching, but it's so specific. It's not like it's lazy. It's like say what you feel. How do you feel about X, Y, and Z? And then we record it, we translate it, and then we like pick what we want. No, you say this. It's faster. It's like, you just say this, and then we're gonna post it. It's disingenuous, right? It's disingenuous. This is the moral agency problem we have. It's the selling of blood, crime, gore, the moral agency issue of what is real and what is just for the sake of selling. And then you bring in the US government and the idea of like controlling the populace and the means of opinion. And then you have all these segmented media companies banning people for saying anything that's off like the main narrative. Like there's certain things you just can't talk about. You can say that Trump colluded with Russia in the 2016 election all day long on YouTube. You can't talk about anything else related to 2020 that might be considered a conspiracy theory. Even mine saying that might be, this whole video, it's gonna take me till 6 o'clock in the morning to add little clips to like the side things. It's like, could be, it's gonna ruin my Thursday. Whew. But it could be taken off just by saying that, which doesn't explain my position. It just, it says basically it's the news. It's me reporting on what Steven Crowder was banned for. It's just so like not even what he was banned for. The insinuation, because he didn't actually do what he's accused of doing. It's the thought crime. Why would you have this topic unless you're intending to imply this? Well, that's not your party for guidelines. But I digress. Then this happened, the Minneapolis riots this summer from the George Floyd trials going on, the Derek Chauvin trial from George Floyd's deaths going on right now. And this is Omar Jimenez with CNN getting arrested on television. Perfectly set up camera. The whole crew gets arrested. Watch this. Watch how this works. Watch how he's allowed to. This is set up. Like, look how the police officer just like lets him talk to camera, finish his segment, then arrest him. Then the cameraman sits down the camera and like it's perfect for his. Watch. Oh, he was also a minority, but just it's like how could you? Hey, you can't talk like this. CNN's manipulated things all the time. The whole sources thing that came out the other week about the sources not being real. Like, how could they possibly be genuine? The story's bogus. It means the source was the same source that was wrong, or multiple sources were made up, or someone had a source from one news organization, and they decided, oh, we don't have that source. Let's just say we do. And it's the same exact story. We'll just say we corroborated that with our source, and it's like not true, just so that they could like run the story themselves. Watch.
What I want to make sure is not lost in this, as we're seeing these remarkable pictures with this law enforcement presence directly behind you, is the why. Why people have been out on the streets protesting. Why this violence is taking place. There is some action behind you. Hang on.
Yep. We've got one person being arrested here. We've got... We're meeting? Yep, we're good. Yep, hold on. I got you. Hold on. They had us here. We're speaking with State Patrol right now. Give us a second, guys. We can move back to where you'd like. We can move back to where you'd like here. We are live on the air at the moment. This is the four of us. We are one team. Just put us back where you want us. We are getting out of your way, so just let us know. Wherever you'd want us, we will go. We are just getting out of your way when you're advancing through the intersection. So just let us know, and we got you. And this is a scene here playing out in Minneapolis. This is part of the advanced police presence that we saw come over the course of really minutes when the local police showed up at the fire department, or with the fire department, I should say, on that building we showed you that was burning. This is among the State Patrol unit that was advancing up the street, saying and scattering the protesters at that point for people to clear the area. And so we walked away. I'm sorry?
You're under arrest.
Okay. Do you mind telling me why I'm under arrest, sir? Why am I under arrest, sir?
Officer's with CNN and he's on the air right now.
Okay.
You are arresting him live on CNN. We told you before that we are with CNN.
If you're just tuning in, you are watching our correspondent, Omar Jimenez, being arrested by state police in Minnesota. We're not sure why our correspondent is being arrested.
Hang on one second, Allison. Let's listen into what these officers are saying. That is an American television reporter, Omar Jimenez, being led away by police officers. He clearly identified himself as a reporter. He was respectfully explaining to the state police that our CNN team was there and moving away as they would request. And then for some reason, he was just taken in to police custody live on television. I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, Allison. I just wanted to listen to see if we could hear more from the officers, the state police, as this is going on.
Yeah. We're trying to see what's going to happen, John, obviously, to the rest.
I'm about there, guys. We were just out here reporting the closure of the streets. They just, Omar was just arrested. I believe they're about to, we're all about to be arrested. That's our producer.
Our CNN producer is being...
I'm probably going to be taken in a minute.
Our CNN camera crew and our producer are being
like I
arrested
said,
right now
reporting
on
the
live
closure.
television in handcuffs.
I've never seen anything like this,
Why, guys? What are,
Allison.
why are you arresting us? I mean, we're just passing along the message, your message. I'm done. You know, we're just out here doing our job as well as you are.
We can do that.
Can you tell me what are?
Are you under arrest?
Okay.
Behind your back.
I'm being arrested now. I gotta put. Can I put the camera down?
If you're just tuning in, this is our camera crew, our CNN camera crew, being arrested by the Minneapolis State Police. We believe the camera is now on the ground because our cameraman has been handcuffed. Our correspondent, Omar Jimenez, was also led away in handcuffs, as was his producer. They were standing where they were told to stand previously by police. They were out of the way. We don't know why they're being arrested. They're not being given any explanation, as far as we can hear, for why they're being arrested. We don't know why they're being handcuffed and led away. They are allowed to be reporting on the unrest that's happening right now, but for some reason, the state police have decided that they need to be under arrest.
And just to be clear, Allison, having been in the middle of protests like this, I've never seen anything like this. I have never seen anything like this. The camera is being watched.
And it's just like, what? It's too perfect. This leads to the immigration thing. The boat sets on the magic hour. You know, the sun's coming down, and CNN has this video of migrants with coyotes wearing ski masks, which they never wear, with every single migrant wearing a medical mask, which they don't wear, crossing the Rio Grande at sunset, with CNN on the water doing their story. It happens to witness at the exact same time with their Spanish-speaking commentator that brilliantly portrays the events before them. It's like, is this real? Did they pay these people? Were they crossing and they said, wait, can you do it this way? Can we? Hey, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to be on camera. Oh, we'll give you ski masks. Like it's so set up and it's so weird. And like, this is like what we're doing. Like, this is no, you can't question it. What is real? What is true? And that's like the. Like Casey Neistat would say, well, how is vlogging filmmaking? You know, like people who answer that's a real question. What do you mean, like doing a movie every single day? Like the idea, he talks about the idea of filmmaking being what you see in the movie theater or made for TV or a Hallmark movie about the girl with anorexia after her parents get a divorce. Like that setup of the feature film 90-minute thing. That's what a movie is a grave misnomer, right? The idea that entertainment is completely separate from the news, the indicative, the objective news we're supposed to get about what's happening is bullshit. Particularly when market share has been crushed by all these media giants. And market share enables control of narratives that are very valuable, which, when you think about the media giants, have taken enormous amounts of government money for startup money. And they're so vested in one way of thinking. And they're censoring people and shutting people down and kicking people off. The President of the United States, they censored the guy based off of an interpretation that was later found not to be accurate, that didn't, you know, because he wasn't impeached, or he was impeached, but he wasn't found guilty of those acts of the Insurrection Act. But a private company determined that the President of the United States was and silenced him. How is that not a national emergency issue or a national security problem? A private company usurping the powers of the United States, the President of the United States, to their own ends, their subjective interpretation of something that is political, very, very political.